What is up, basketball fans? Welcome to the NBA Outlet. I'm your host, Nick Fay. With me, as always, Kory Waldron, and regular guest on the show, Jac Manuell.
You know what? It's absolutely lovely to be on a podcast with Kory Waldron. Love it.
I'm feeling merry, but I don't know if I'm going to be feeling merry after this podcast.
I'm intrigued. This is going to be an interesting show. We got some holiday twists for you. As always, you can find us on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, OTGBasketball.com, and YouTube. But before we get into any of the holiday games and all that fun stuff, we're going to talk about Isiah Thomas, who walked into the stands yesterday after being disrespected by a fan who had said all different types of things to him that you shouldn't be saying to other humans. He was suspended 2 games. I know you guys have some thoughts on that. Hit me.
So I'm going first on this pod, so that's weird. That's people making decisions. So Isiah Thomas, yeah. So what happened was he scored a bucket, looked over to the stands, and saw a fan giving him both of the birds, which is flipping them off and yelling, F you, or whatever. Isiah Thomas goes over to him and goes, man, like, I'm a person, treat me with respect, I'm coming to you as a man, blah, blah, blah. And then the guy goes, man, I just wanted a fucking Frosty, I'm sorry. Because apparently, if you miss 2 free throws at the line, the fans get a Frosty. So fans were, wanting him to miss to get a Frosty. At the same time, though, these guys are still human. I think at times fans forget that, especially when they're intoxicated. These 2 guys, I think, were notably intoxicated. And of course, Adam Silver and the NBA decided that because Isiah Thomas went into the stands, they suspended him for 2 games, which I think is ridiculous because it's not like this isn't like Ron Artest or Steven Jackson running into the stands. This is literally Isiah Thomas just walking kind of calmly, speaking in a calm tone. There's a video of someone in the crowd watching, like recording like 3 feet from Isiah Thomas, him walking over. It's one of those things. I don't think he should have been suspended. If you want to fine him for going into the stands, sure. A suspension seems way over the top.
Wonderful summation, Kory. Absolutely wonderful, glorious summation. Really, really value your insight right now. Absolutely loving it. But look, can I just say that if you're paying $500 to sit in these awesome seats and $1 Frosty, by the way, as
I
an
was thinking that
Australian,
too.
what is a Frosty? Like, I'm not sure what is this Frosty sort of thing that we're talking about right now.
It's from Wendy's. It's like an ice cream / milkshake. It's like not either or.
Okay, that sounds quite tasty.
It is
straw, but you need a spoon. But it's not. But it's softer than ice cream. It's literally in between.
Yeah, it's good though. It's delicious. I mean, and it's only 99 cents most of the time. I would think like most is probably $2. So, like you said, Jack, if you're buying these seats, you can get a Frosty.
Frosty's got the people out here wilding. Let's just say that. Wow, it's a wonderful time of year. But yeah, I agree with Kory. I think it's pretty silly to judge the fact that Isiah Thomas went into the crowd just purely the act, rather than judging by why he did it, what he did, and what he said. And I think if anything, it's setting an example for how to, react to certain things. And we've seen horrible fan reactions before. Obviously, I think the guy in Utah that is suing the NBA or suing Utah Jazz for like $100 million for him getting banned after he literally went at Russell Westbrook and went absolutely wild at him. Fans can be incredibly stupid. I know we are all basketball fans on this podcast, but at the end of the day, it's about human respect. It's about showing that empathy. And at the end of the day, athletes are humans. And I think far too often fans forget that.
Yeah, I think you look at it too. It's like more on the staff of the arena. If you're having fans do inappropriate things, I think that's something teams need to do a better job of. I understand the NBA perspective for suspending him, and I know it, like, obviously he handled it the right way, but you just don't want players walking to the stands. Like, it's just can provide so many other bad elements that you just don't want to get into. Not saying Isiah Thomas was looking to do that, but what happens when the fan acts inappropriately again, then all of a sudden you're getting a fight, and it wouldn't happen if he never walked out there. So I get that perspective, and I can understand why you guys would be mad about it too.
Yeah.
But on to the holiday stuff. Now we're talking positive things. We usually do studs and duds. This week we're doing stud of the week. It's going to be whoever was the most charitable this holiday season, or just our personal pick. It's our way to involve somebody. So Kory, I'll let you start us off, and which is weird.
So this one was, I kind of found it a mistake, but Chris Middleton started last year 12 Days of Christmas. Get it? Chris Middleton, Christmas with a K. Get it? Ha ha.
That is absolutely hilarious, Kory. That's the funniest joke I've ever heard in my life.
Well, I mean, it's not my joke; it's his charity name. But either way, I digress. So he starts this tradition where he has people, Bucks fans, send him stories of incredible people in the community. Then he gives back. So, for example, a Detroit bookstore, they sent him, some email or people emailed on their behalf, and Chris Middleton donated a bunch of books to this bookstore as well as a children's hospital. So 12 annual days of Christmas, he gives back to the community. Pretty cool to see.
100%.
What a sensational example of the festive spirit by K-Wall Hoops. Absolutely love
it.
Though. It's all. I just love what you're doing on today's podcast, Kory. Keep it up, my friend. Now my start of the week, I woke up to about 5 tags. One from Nick in a DM, one from some other fans, and one from the OTG basketball account about my boy, my love, my everything, Joe Harris, showing some charity festive spirit at the Burlington Coat Factory, where he went up to a group of people and saying that he was going to be paying off all of their layaways. And I mean, do we need to hype up Joe Harris as a person, as a man, as a human being, as an entity even more? This man just oozes awesomeness in so many different ways. The only person I like more than him is Kory Waldron right now.
That's great to hear, Jack. And obviously Spencer Dinwiddie was hyping him up too. But I'm going to go with Kevin Durant. Obviously, we don't get to use him as a stud so far this week because he's injured, but great opportunity. He donated in surprise 40 homeless kids at a holiday party. Did not just give them one gift. It was like a Santa Claus package of things he unloaded for them. So they got only not gifts, but to interact with KD for the day, which is pretty cool.
Definitely.
But moving on from there, we're moving to our next holiday segment. We're going to go with best givers, holiday season, exchanging gifts. Now we're going to look at teammates that hook their NBA teammates up with passes. So top 5 passers in the NBA. Kory, hit me.
So my top 5 passers in the NBA, in no order, LeBron James, Nikola Jokic, Chris Paul, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Jimmy Butler were my top 5 givers.
Great examples, Kory. Great players. I mean, just everything you're doing today, everything you do in life, Kory, oozes greatness. Let me just say that about yourself right now. I'm feeling good. It's a festive season. K-Wall Hoops, killing it as always. Had a few of your names as well, my friend. I had LeBron. I had Nikola Jokic. But I also had Trae Young. I had Chris Paul. And I had James Harden with an honorable mention to my boy, Ben Simmons, despite the grift and the gruff and the non-naughty, unfestive spirit that he has been getting on Twitter of late.
I went with LeBron James, Luka, Trae Young, CP3, and Jokic.
Wow, Luka is a hard miss. That's a bad miss. I'm not sure why he didn't come to mind.
That's just rude, Kory.
I think
honorable mentions, I'm just going to throw them in there real quick, Jack. Ricky Rubio, James Harden, D'Angelo Russell.
I think Trae Young's a better passer than Luka Doncic. I think that's the only thing Trae Young is better at than Luka in terms of assist numbers, and I think in terms of his work in the pick and roll, I think he is sublime in terms of how he elevates his teammates with his passing. I think Luka does that as well, and Luka is pretty damn sublime, and I'm splitting hairs, but it's just a subjective take that I have.
I could understand, I think, Trae Young maybe having better vision, but I think Luka throws better passes where, he's throwing it crispier and he's hitting the players right in the shooting pocket.
They're flashier, I feel like, too. At least this year. I've seen a lot of flashy Luka passes, no look.
Luka actually has good teammates, too, so that helps.
Yeah.
It does help. They finish the baskets.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, Trae could have better assist numbers, too, moving forward if Atlanta has NBA players. But any honorable mentions for you guys that we didn't hit on?
I had Ricky Rubio as one of mine as well. I mean, his assist numbers are good, and they're not flashy, but Malcolm Brogdon is a good facilitator, so I would have those 2 guys as additional guys.
I think Ricky Rubio is the sexiest person in the NBA right now that isn't Joe Harris. And that isn't Kory Waldron. Even Kory Waldron, I mean, if he was in the NBA right now, I think he would be on my top sexiest list too.
Kory, how do you feel about this extra hype you're receiving this episode?
I mean, I'm loving it. I see Jack is going the complete 180 from what he normally does on these podcasts. So instead of breaking my balls, he's giving me love and pumping up my spirits. So it's good. I'm over here blushing.
Yeah, I've
Love it.
never heard this motivational speaker version of Jack. That's what I refer to him as now.
I'm a
Top.
teacher. I'm a teacher. I need to do this. Corey's one of my kids.
Okay. Now,
Big
moving on to top trees, keeping the holiday season up. So we're doing top 5 bigs in the NBA. This can be a forward or a center, but they have to be a big.
So this is my only question, and I figured I'd ask on the pod because I don't like doing stuff off wax. Pascal Siakam, are we considering him a forward?
Jack, you can decide.
Yeah, because Corey, I'm going to say yes to everything you're asking today, right?
Oh.
Yes.
Okay. Well, my top 5, my top trees, top bigs: Davis, Towns, Embiid, Jokic, and then I put Siakam. Or I wanted to put Siakam, and then Gobert would be right there. But I think I like Siakam's overall game more than Gobert's defense and rebounding.
Yeah, I had those guys too. I had Davis, Embiid, Jokic, Towns. But then, just to be a little bit different during this festive season, I'd add a bio over Gobert.
Ooh. See, that's what I was thinking, Gobert or Bam. I didn't consider a Siakam a big just because that's just not me. But Gobert or Bam, it's really interesting. It's like, do you value the versatility of Bam or do you value what Gobert does really, really well?
He's an insane defender and is going to be, for probably the next 5-6 years, Gobert is going to be a defensive player of the year candidate. But at a bio, in terms of what you mentioned, Nick, in terms of the versatility and in the top 50 right now, he is rocketing up those rankings in terms of what I've been working on. And sensational passer, sort of a new version of Draymond Green. What he does, I spoke about him on JBT, which is now out, a new episode of Christmas, some more Christmas gifts for all the listeners. Nick and I spoke about the fact that we think that he might be the most important player on the Miami Heat.
Yeah, it's honestly, Bam is really stepping up. You guys want to give the listeners a sneak peek of the top 50? Who's higher, Bam or Gobert?
Right now it's Gobert, but I'm sure because I did mine like 2 weeks ago, and I mean Corey and I still need to collate ours, and we'll be doing that over the festive break in the new year. But everything is rearranging very quickly in game by game performances.
I already have Bam, I think, at a higher level. And I think it's because the Miami Heat in general are having more success, I think. And I think even though I think Gobert's the better defensive player, I think Bam makes much more impact on the game than Rudy Gobert at this point in time. But that might be a hot take now that I'm like saying it out loud.
I mean, it is a little bit of a hot take, but I think Bam's been really good. It's a little bit harder to take Bam out of the game because he's good at a lot of things where Gobert, we've seen in the playoffs, he's got shifted to the bench. But moving on from bigs, we're going to talk naughty or nice. We're going to talk coaching jobs in the NBA. Starting off, Jim Boylen, has he been naughty or nice this season?
I mean, he has just been bad, and is bad naughty? Yeah, let's go with that. Sorry to interrupt you, Corey. I didn't mean to come in, but I'm a bit passionate about Jim Boylen. My brother is a Chicago Bulls fan. He is also equally passionate. I will now let you speak. I am sorry for interrupting you.
It's okay. I was waiting for you to go anyways because I'm not used to going first. So yes, Jim Boylen is naughty. The Chicago Bulls, which some people had making the playoffs this year, are not a playoff team. I think that's a part of the players, but it's also a part of them just not buying into Jim Boylen's system and him not really getting the most out of this roster. So I say yes, naughty.
Corey speaks nothing but truth always.
Up next, the Atlanta Hawks, Lloyd Pierce.
I think Lloyd's been nice. I think he's been nice enough, and I'm again a little bit flustered by this situation. So I'm just going to go back to going first again, Corey. I'm sorry for this. I'm taking over. I'm rearranging the show in a little bit of ways, but it's just the way that I react when I'm on this outlet with you. I get a little bit flustered when I'm on wax with one of the best podcasters that has ever stepped foot in front of a microphone. But Lloyd Pierce, I think is getting a little bit of undue criticism with what is happening in Atlanta right now. I think that what we've seen in the growth of Trae Young to being an absolute superstar, I think a lot of that has to go, some credit needs to be given to Lloyd Pierce there in terms of being able to give him the reins to succeed. I think that the roster around him is pretty weak. And I think having your second best player out for an extended period of time in John Collins certainly doesn't help either. So I think Lloyd Pierce has been nice.
I'm going to say nice as well. I still don't think they have a lot of good defensive players on this roster. They lack a center. Trae Young, as we know, he puts up numbers every night. I think DeAndre Hunter has had a nice rookie campaign so far. Jabari Parker has definitely been a plus offensively. And as you mentioned, Jack, John Collins has been out, so that definitely hurts. I think he's been nice because of the young guys who you want to be probably a part of this core going forward. They've shown they've shown good signs and flashes. I think you're just waiting to get the rest of the pieces into place where this Hawks team actually becomes a more capable winning team.
Yeah, they just don't have enough good players. But up next, Dwayne Casey of the Detroit Pistons.
Well, this is a tough one. I think Dwayne Casey has been. I'm going to go with naughty because I think the Pistons, outside of Andre Drummond and a little bit of Luke Kennard and a bit of Bruce Bowen here and there, have been in, abject disappointment. I think Blake Griffin's health is deteriorating, and I'm struggling to find a spot for him in the top 50, mind you, just purely because of the health that he has lacked of late. And, he's not going to get any healthier, and he's not going to get any better, which is, really disappointing because he was awesome last year. And obviously the playoff disappointments for them, he really struggled to even get out there for the Detroit Pistons. But there's not a lot, positives on the horizon. I think Derrick Rose and Andre Drummond, like I mentioned, have been the shining spots. But other than in terms of Dwayne Casey's coaching, if I'm assessing that, I don't really see anything that Dwayne Casey is doing well or has done well. He hasn't necessarily. I don't think he's elevated this roster at all over the past year and a quarter since he has been in Detroit. So he's been a little bit naughty for me, but it feels a little bit mean of me saying that. So I'm going to say nice things about Kory again after he gives his opinion.
So I think Dwayne Casey has been naughty by association, because this
hanging out with the wrong people, I guess.
Yeah, well, this roster has been unfortunately hit by a lot of injuries, as Jack kind of highlighted. Reggie Jackson has missed time. Blake Griffin hasn't gotten healthy. Derrick Rose has missed his fair share of games. And outside of those three guys, there isn't that much talent in this roster aside from Andre Drummond and Luke Kennard. So I'm going to say he's naughty by association because I just don't think he's had a lot to work with.
Yeah, I think both great points from you guys. Jack, you want to add anything on Kory's thoughts?
I was just going to ask you, Nick, is there a more poignant, intelligent NBA analyst than Kory Waldron right now?
Yeah, Zach Lowe, Kozanowski, Mark Stein.
Don't
Nick
talk yourself down. Lift yourself up.
I'm just staying humble. Come on now.
Lift yourself up, Kory. Lift yourself up.
2020 goals. Here we go. We're not at that episode yet, but that's just a warm up. Steve Clifford, Orlando Magic.
Yeah, he has been naughty. He's been a naughty man. Not being able to get anything necessarily out of Aaron Gordon. I think he's had 2 good games this season in terms of, his scoring output and his work on both sides of the ball. I liked how he's been able to get something out of Markelle Fultz and Jonathan Isaac. We've had some chats with him about him in the OTG contributor chat and the DMs of Twitter, and all of us are pretty high on him in terms of being a really exciting young defensive prospect. But outside of that, there aren't many good things happening in Orlando. And I think the naughty by association sounds like a 1990s rap group that Kory came up with there. But at the end of the day, I thought the Orlando Magic have been pretty poor this year. But, I wasn't as high on them as anyone else was. I think a lot of people were like, they're going to be third, they're going to be fourth. They're so good defensively. I'm so high on the Orlando Magic. They're way better than the Nets. They're way better than the Pacers. I'm just like, does anyone see what this roster actually is? So at the end of the day, Steve Clifford has to be put on that naughty list.
This is a tough one. And naughty by association is actually my first R&B hit coming out soon.
Dude, on Spotify.
I think I'm gonna say nice though. Because unfortunately he's had injuries to Nikola Vucevic, which has been unfortunate. Aaron Gordon hasn't taken that leap, but we've seen Jonathan Isaac play very good basketball, kind of been a standout defensively. Markelle Fultz has become, once again, what looks to be a key rotational player going forward in the NBA, playing starter minutes now for the Magic. Evan Fournier has very nice shooting splits of 47 and 42. It's more so been the fact that Gordon hasn't taken a jump and that Vucevic got hurt. So I'm not going to blame that on Steve Clifford, and also that Terrence Ross all of a sudden can't shoot again after getting his big payday. And I don't put guys regressing who have already kind of shown that they were on the up and up as a fault of the coach if guys are taking a step back like this dramatically.
Yeah, it's really a tough situation because it is players underperforming and obviously injuries, but it's mostly the same team. So I always think people look to the coach where, things go wrong when you have the same roster. But up next, Luke Walton, Sacramento Kings.
Luke Walton has been incredibly naughty in terms of his ability to integrate De'Aaron Fox back into the lineup. Obviously, the team's best player. I think I saw somewhere on Twitter the fact that they are playing one of the slowest paces, if not the slowest pace in the league, which is the exact opposite of what Dave Yeager did and exact opposite of how the Sacramento Kings found success last year. I thought that what we've seen from Bogdanovic has been really nice, but he's been in and out of the lineup due to injuries. Rashawn Holmes' growth has been outstanding, so I think Luke Walton has to get some credit where credit is due. But if we're looking at it as a bigger picture thing, you're judged by how you can develop and how you can continue to grow this team. And they haven't grown enough, and we expected them to be a playoff team. They're still thereabouts. They're on the fringes, but I expected the Sacramento Kings, especially with now how open that 7th and 8th spot is, to be, almost at the head of that list where you got Phoenix, Minnesota, OKC, purely because you got Buddy Hield on a nice contract. You got De'Aaron Fox, who's a nice young up-and-coming point guard who had some really good experience with Team USA before he did leave. I expected more from Sacramento, which is why I'm putting Luke Walton on that naughty list.
Naughty, 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 lumps of coal, lots of coal, and probably a lost job. So Luke Walton has not been good. Obviously, coming off what was a very poor finish with the Los Angeles Lakers, too, with expectations of last year. His whole persona is pushing with pace and playing with pace. The Kings are the worst pace team in the NBA. And you would think with a guy like De'Aaron Fox, pace wouldn't be that much of an issue. Well, surprisingly enough, the Sacramento Kings were 9-8 without De'Aaron Fox. They're 3-9 since in games that De'Aaron Fox has played this year, which is surprising that when your best player is out there, you're worse than when he's not out there. I'm not sure if that's just somewhat of a De'Aaron Fox struggling to get in the rhythm. That could just be the flow of the game with certain pieces in, Buddy Hield not knowing necessarily who he is, perhaps, because his numbers have dipped since De'Aaron Fox has returned. But either way, Luke Walton has not gotten a lot out of his young stars. And this roster, which may have been already faulty to start with, looks a little bit discombobulated. So I'm going to say naughty.
Yeah, you mentioned it, Kory. Luke Walton could be kind of coaching for his job, even obviously it's the first year of his contract, but things have not looked good for him as a coach. But last one's going to be a little bit spicy. Gregg Popovich of the San Antonio Spurs.
Ooh, Gregg Popovich. I think he deserves to go on the naughty list just because how mean he is and how much of a Grinch he is to all of the reporters out there. I know if Kory Waldron was lucky enough to be on the beat, he would make Kory Waldron sad, and I don't like when people make Kory Waldron sad, even though I've done that in the past myself. But
you're a new man.
I'm a new man. I'm revitalized. It's the festive season. Let's get around it. Let's all stay happy and positive. Don't bring me down, Nick Fay, please, or else you're going to get what I give to Kory Waldron normally. But related to Gregg Popovich, I think that his rotations have just been bizarre. DeMarre Carroll, a guy they signed to a 2-year, $14 million contract, who was very, very good for the Brooklyn Nets, is not even playing minutes. Yet a guy like Marco Bellinelli, who will throw the worst shots you have ever seen, who plays little to no defense, continues to get those minutes after minutes after minutes. Lonnie Walker deserves more time. DeMar DeRozan deserves less time and deserves to get traded, as does LaMarcus Aldridge. Jakob Poeltl is showing things but deserves to get a little bit more. DeJounte Murray hasn't shown enough that we want to see. Derek White, he's been, good enough. But I think Gregg Popovich, in terms of what he is doing, is, it's naughty because I think that the San Antonio Spurs, the consistency that we've expected from them, I think they still probably might make the playoffs just purely because I think they'll go on a run. But I think in terms of we're looking at Gregg Popovich's coaching, I think he hasn't done a good job.
I think I'm going to say naughty too. Obviously, the Spurs have been a playoff team for the last 20 years. This has been the first year we've seen a major drop off. I saw a number the other day, which might be on the next show when we do Believe It or Not. So I won't spoil the Pacific, but I know that DeMar DeRozan and LaMarcus Aldridge are two of the worst net plus minus rated guys in the NBA right now. They're struggling to stop guys. They're struggling to shoot the 3-point ball. Guys have regressed. Some guys like DeJounte Murray have not taken that jump. DeMar DeRozan gets like an empty 25 points a night. Like there are 25 points, but they just don't have much weight to the actual outcome of games. So I'm going to say Naughty because we know Gregg Popovich is a great coach, but he still hasn't been able to get anything out of this roster with basically the same team he had as last year.
And kind of to the point you guys mentioned before, I think Jack mentioned that 7th and 8th speed being wide open and the Spurs not really capitalizing on that, being a fringe playoff team going in, a little bit disappointing. But on to games of the week. Obviously, schedule's a little bit different this week because we're going to have less games with the holiday. But starting on Monday night, the 23rd, what are we rolling with?
Monday the 23rd, what have we got? Don't have that open right now, so Kory, can you please give me yours and help me out because I really need the help right now.
Well, man, hate when people aren't prepared, but so I think
that hurts my feelings.
So I think for me, it's either the Raptors and Pacers play at 7:00 tomorrow. The Pacers are coming off a very tough second half loss to the Milwaukee Bucks tonight on a back-to-back. So I think Raptors Pacers would probably be my game of the night, but Utah Jazz Miami Heat I think might be the global game of the night.
Yeah, I'd like that pick, Kory, as I always do. I'm not sure if I want to be nice to you anymore for the rest of this podcast, but okay. The Chicago Bulls and the Orlando Magic is oddly intriguing to me, so I'm going to pick that one just to be a little bit different.
I don't. Can you expand on that a little?
I respect. Well, what are we looking for in this game, Jack? Give me what has your attention? Zach LaVine versus Markelle Fultz. What's got you?
I think it's gonna be oddly competitive and a bit of a slugfest. I think both teams are very good defensively. When I was on the outlet last, my stud of the week was the Chicago Bulls defense, and we know the Orlando Magic like to play solid, sound, fundamentally good defense. And I'm a guy who likes to watch a bit of defense, Kory. We can't all shoot our shots, and I know you love to shoot your shots in different ways, not just on the basketball court, but off the basketball court. But I like to watch some defense. I like some fundamentally sound basketball. Okay, I'm getting a little bit grinchy right now, Kory. Don't come at me, mighty guy.
I think you forgot that I'm a Pacers fan, and I don't get a lot of offense. I'm a defense first guy, Jack. Come on now. I mean, we both have the same love interest in the heart.
That's beautiful. I'm just happy to be here. I'm going to go with the Utah Jazz and Miami Heat. I think Raptors and Pacers could be fun. Not really looking forward to Bulls and Magic, though. Sorry, Jack.
Hey, it's cool to be different.
All right. No Christmas Eve games. On to Christmas Day. We'll kind of talk about each one. Ranking them 1 through 5, what's the best game of Christmas Day?
It's the LA all-day game. It's going to be an absolute bonanza. LeBron James is resting tonight against Denver, so he can get himself ready. That thoracic muscle strain will be good to go. But because other than that, there aren't as many good games. But I will go second with the Milwaukee and Philadelphia 76ers game, which could be a little bit spicy too.
So, LeBron's health is a big if for me. If LeBron's not playing, that Clippers-Lakers game is still going to be a game I watch on Christmas Day, but it won't have the same pop to it. And it's also penciled in between two games, which are the Rockets-Warriors and Pelicans-Nuggets. I think the game I would probably lean on being my game of the night would be Bucks-Sixers, because I think both teams have the best chance of being fully healthy.
Yeah, I think that's the safest bet. If LeBron plays, it's Clippers versus Lakers. If not, it's Bucks versus Sixers. Then third, I'd say Celtics Raptors. Then Pelicans Nuggets, and then sadly there's Rockets Warriors, which if we looked at in the offseason, probably still be a really fun matchup. But at this point in the season, it's terrible.
Yucky.
On to Thursday. What are we looking at?
I'm prepared now, Kory. Am I allowed to go first again, or are we going back to you?
If you want, I don't know what you want to do. Okay, I want to do whatever makes you happy. So if you want to go first, go ahead. If not, I'll shoot my shot.
All right, we know you know how to shoot your shot very well, my friend. Portland at Utah is my game of the night because I think these are the two teams that are struggling a little bit and are going to want to make a little bit of a statement after Christmas. But Nets versus Knicks, I can't not just give a shout out to my Brooklyn Nets either.
Beautiful.
So for me, now again, not a great slate of basketball on Thursday, unfortunately. We got gifted on Christmas Day. I think I somewhat lean towards Memphis and Oklahoma City. OKC is playing good basketball right now, above 500, and Memphis has Ja Morant, who knows, almost killed Kevin Love. Someone else could be on the hit list next. And as Nick mentioned a couple shows ago, Jaren Jackson's been playing really good basketball lately.
But I'm going to go with Blazers Jazz for this one. Friday night, the slate does get a little bit better. What are we rolling with?
I am going to go with the Heat and the Pacers. I know Kory will be watching it. He likes to watch defense. He's hoping there's defense because I like defense too, Kory. And I like to hear that we are on the same page with some things. You know, I think we might have different philosophies and different things in life. I'm a little bit older, a little bit wiser than you, but I can learn from the youth. And that's what I'm trying to learn from you today and on every podcast, my friend.
Okay. I just want everyone to know, not that big of an age gap. Jack's old. I'm not young. We're like right in the sweet spot, right before life sucks and right before life is like too good to enjoy. So Friday, we have a weird 4:00 game on Friday. I just want to say Cavaliers Celtics is on at 4:00, which is a little bit early. I think my game of the night, obviously, though, will be Pacers Heat. Another good test for the Indiana Pacers to kind of see where they rank. A nice win against the Lakers, loss against the Bucks. How do they bounce back?
Yeah. What's the latest on Oladipo?
No timetable. He's practicing though. He's smiling in practice.
How big is the smile? That matters a lot.
It's big. He's singing. He's singing during 3-point drills and stuff like that. So I mean, he's in good spirits. I think recently he said he's at like 80 to 85%. So now it's just about getting him all the way. And again, the Pacers just aren't in any rush because, you know, being 20-10, it's given them the chance to kind of ease Oladipo farther back in. I think if they were, you know, let's say like 15-15, if they were like 500, then maybe this would be a different story. But the fact is, they have a nice little cushion there in the middle of the pack of the East. There's no need to rush Oladipo back.
Yeah, very true. Now, my pick for the night was Pacers Heat. I think it's still a good matchup, even obviously without Oladipo. Good test for the Pacers. Also, I think a good test for the Heat. You know, they've beaten up on a lot of bad teams now and get more tests against good teams. On Saturday, though, what are we watching?
The Heat will be tested again against the 76ers. I think that there's always a little bit extra with Jimmy Butler playing against his old team there. So that, for me, is one of the games of the night. But I can't not shout out the Rockets and the Nets because the Nets had a pretty decent win against the Houston Rockets when they visited Barclays last time. Hopefully they can repeat the effort against them on Saturday.
It's too easy for me to pick the Pacers again. Well, I enjoy the Pelicans, so I just want to say that. Sixers Heat, I think, is a good choice, Jack. That would probably be the game I watch early on Saturday. I do have a lot of intriguement, though, in Jazz Clippers to end the night. You know, the Clippers have had 15 games this year where they've won by double digits. Some of them have been criticized, some of their losses, in their despite some of their big-time wins. They're playing another good team, the Utah Jazz.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Heat Sixers. I think I picked last week on Game of the Week, so I don't want to roll with them again. I think Celtics Raptors is a pretty interesting matchup, how those two teams kind of bang it out. But
even
like
without all the injuries, with Siakam out and
I mean, we got another
out.
week.
They're out indefinitely, though. That indefinitely doesn't mean good things.
Jack, we're positive. What type of show is this? Who is this guy? Your voice tone just changed.
Hey, I need to get my negative energy out somewhere because I'm saving all the positive energy for Kory Waldron today.
But I'll still probably roll with Nets Rockets. I think there's actually a good chance one of the Nets players hopefully is back at that time, and that'll kind of intrigue things a bit.
Oh, yeah.
But anything else on Saturday's notes?
No, Saturday just we're getting back into basketball. We got some good games Saturday, which is good.
And
King Suns.
Go ahead, Jack.
King Suns will be entertaining. I feel like both of those teams. You know, I always like the intriguing nature of teams battling it out to try and get that 7th or 8th spot. You know, get that playoff cash money, which is a little bit what I was sort of alluding to with the Bulls and the Magic too. But King Suns, I think, could be a feisty little matchup as well.
Yeah, both teams trying to squeeze in there. But on to Sunday, we have one really nice matchup. The rest, not so amazing.
And the nice matchup kind of varies on health, right? I think
Yep.
the Mavericks-Lakers are the game we're alluding to. Luka Doncic is apparently moving very well in practice. He'll probably be back by then. Then it's just dependent if LeBron James is healthy. And if you have Luka Doncic healthy and that rat-a-tat crew of Kristaps Porzingis, Tim Hardaway Jr., Jalen Brunson and company, with LeBron James and Anthony Davis leading the charge, it's going to be a fun game.
Yeah, I'm intrigued actually by some of the other matchups as well. I like Grizzlies Swans. I think that'll be a really fun matchup. Devontae Graham, Ja Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr. I think that could be a bit of fun. Nuggets Kings as well. I think those teams have always, had really good scrappy matchups of late. And Raptors Thunder, I think, could be a little bit spicy too. I really like watching the Thunder play, and the Toronto Raptors, probably my second favorite team of basketball.
Yeah, I'm still rolling with Mavs Lakers here. Like Kory said, obviously it depends a lot on Luka, but he is moving well, so hopefully he is back. But that's it for Game of the Weeks. We're going to continue the festive activities, and we're going to go with top 5 cookies. Obviously, holiday season is essentially cookie season. What are we rolling with?
Well, we all know Kory Waldron is a dish. He's a tasty dish himself. So let's let Kory Waldron go first.
A tasty dish. Yes. That's how I've been described several times. So cookies.
A side dish, a main dish, a dessert. What are you talking about here?
So I want to say first, cookies are my drug of choice. Some people may prefer, drugs, like hard drugs or whatever.
Whoa!
We're not advocating to do drugs in this show.
No, we're not advocating to do drugs. But I'm saying mine is cookies. Some is soda, some is McDonald's, mine is cookies. And first, to lead the charge of the cookies that I'm addicted to would be chocolate chips. I love them. Doesn't matter what brand. My mom makes some bitchin' freaking homemade chocolate chip cookies. She's got like 5 dozen made, and I think I've eaten 2.5 dozen by myself. It is, what time of season is it? It's bulking season, and I'm bulking a tummy. Next up on my cookie list would be oatmeal raisin. I think those are a solid choice. I actually didn't like these, but then I was like, they're kind of healthy, right? Because raisins must be somewhat healthy. If they're not, I don't care. Do not.
Oatmeal is good for you. Oats.
Okay, good. So, because I'm oating him. That was bad. I was just like omitting, but like I'm omitting them. So next,
Jack, encourage him.
Sugar cookies.
Keep it up.
They're sugar and they're cookies. 2 combined things, not bad. If they're overcooked though, But sugar cookies can be solid. I don't know if these are like typical cookies, but Oreos. They're 4th. Break them. Just eat the stuffing. Throw away the crappy black cookie part, and just eat what? If not, just double stuff them. They make quadruple stuff Oreos now. I mean, come on now. Who needs the diabetes? Get some diabetes. Last up, Snickerdoodles. They're okay. I was running out of cookies. Snickerdoodle will be 5th.
I want to listen to Kory talk about cookies. I need a cookie podcast, full access cookies with Kory Waldron. That would be sensational. Get get Oreos involved, get all the confectionery brands, get Kory Waldron a sponsorship. He deserves that, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm gonna make an OnlyFans account where I'm only eating cookies.
We can cross promote my OnlyFans for Joe Harris. That'd be a bit of fun. My top 5 cookies are very similar. I didn't have any oatmeal and raisins. You don't put any of that ish in the glorious nature of what biscuits are. I had choc chip number 1 as well. I'm judging by the insomnia cookies. And has anyone had the insomnia small cookie before?
Never had insomnia cookies in general.
It is absolutely gloriously outstanding. There's like marshmallows and graham crackers. It's gooey. There's like chocolate chips in there. It is. It makes me moist in different ways just thinking about it from my mouth and from other places as well. In terms of the other cookies that I had on the list, I had double/triple chocolate chip cookies. Just give me all the chocolate. Chocolate and cookies. It is a match made in heaven like no other. And then I'm not sure if these are in the Northern Hemisphere, but Mars bar cookies. They're very caramelly. They're sort of, and I think the caramel nature adds to the chewy nature of it. And I'm going to cheat here because I went on, I Googled cookies, just a list of cookies, and brownies came up. So I'm going to chuck brownies in my list just for the sake of it.
Brownies are not a cookie, though.
Hey, I just chucked them in there because I
They're
can.
a pastry.
Google told me I could.
But you know why? Google's lying here because there's such thing as a brownie cookie.
Oh, then I'm going with the brownie cookie. You just
I ate one today, actually. It was a brownie cookie with M&Ms. It was delicious.
Oh, you answered my question for me, Nick Fay.
So, top 5 cookie list. Chocolate chip, obviously number 1. There's so many different styles of chocolate chip. You obviously have to have them on there. Now, peanut butter cookie with a Reese's peanut butter cup inside. Kory, you might have had this before because my mom makes them. They are delicious. That's top 5. Oatmeal raisin for sure. Kory was right about the Oreos, but we don't advocate throwing out food, so you eat that whole thing, you dip it in milk. And then number 5, Thin Mints.
What's a thin? I don't know what Thin Mints are.
Girl Scout cookies.
Yeah,
I wouldn't want Samoas, but Thin Mints solid. Because no one likes a fat mint, you know? No one likes a fat mint, so you gotta get a thin mint.
Samoas, I feel like you can only eat so many because they're so sweet, where I can eat a whole thing of Thin Mints and not feel terrible about myself. And Jack, it's just a mint chocolate chip cookie, essentially, with like a fudge covering.
Don't hate that. Don't hate that. Actually, speaking of cookies, I remember going to Target, and I think down the road where I was staying in the Lower East Side, and I was astounded at the level of variety of Oreo cookies they had. They had like pumpkin spice latte cookies. I was just like, I was overwhelmed. I think Kory would have been swimming. You know how like they have Scrooge McDuck swimming in money? That's Kory like swimming in cookies.
Kory, top 3 Oreo flavors.
There's different flavors.
You've never had the different insides? And you call yourself, he's on your top 5. You're terrible here. All right, well, I'll give it to the people. There is peanut butter. An Oreo with peanut butter inside is absolutely delicious. They had red velvet. It doesn't really taste. It doesn't really taste like red velvet. Kory, Jack, I'm not sure if they have this in Australia. You're familiar with Dunkaroos?
Dunkaroos, yeah.
No, I don't know Dunkaroos. See, this was this is funny. This is funny because your sister was the same. She was like Dunkaroos. I was like, I've never had these. Like your family are the only people I knew who had Dunkaroos.
Yo, there's some good shit. You got those at BJ's, got the big pack, whatever it is. It's a cookie.
BJ's? What are we talking about now?
It's a wholesale provider, Jack. Keep it PG.
Just checking. Kory's talking about hard drugs. Now we're talking about BJ's. Come on, guys. It's the festive season. Children are listening. Cookies, wholesome content.
Yeah, okay, back to the story. Dunkaroos is cookie with frosting. You dip it in. The frosting's amazing. That's what it tastes like on the inside. Then they also have mint Oreos, which are good too. But obviously, Kory's never had any of these. But Jack, we'll have to give you a taste test next time you're here.
I like it.
But we're talking food again. Now, this was recommended by one of our OTG contributors, Karen. I'm not a big pie guy. Kory's not a big pie guy. So we're going to do top 3 pies instead of top 5. Who's starting off?
No, I got 5. I'm giving you 5, mate.
Okay. Yeah, you got some Australian flavor.
Yeah, okay. So you guys are going to be astounded. You guys are going to fall off your chairs. But a meat pie, a steak or a beef mince pie is the number 1 pie going around. Everyone in the Southern Hemisphere, everyone in the UK agrees with me. It trumps any blueberry, apple, peach, whatever you want to say. Mince savory pies are the GOAT.
Is that like dinner? It's not a dessert, obviously. You eat it as like a dinner?
It is a dinner. You have a bit of mashed potatoes with it. You might have some peas with it. You have a bit of gravy. It is glorious in so many different ways. Get around it. I'm not sure if there's like Irish pubs around there in America that serve it, but it is incredibly worthwhile, and it is an absolute delicacy in so many ways. But my other 4, I had lemon meringue pie, I had blueberry pie, I had apple pie, and I had peach pie.
All in that order?
In that order, sir.
Okay. All right. I think that meat pie should have an asterisk next to it because that's like some giant entree.
It's a pea. It's a pea. It's a pie.
Is it similar to like chicken pot pie, except more so like the beef version, and like instead of creamy, it's like gravy?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay. All right. So first would be chicken pot pie for me because chicken pot pie is great. No, but of the dessert pie, first would be apple pie. Second would be blueberry pie. And then third would be cherry pie because I've never had pumpkin pie, so I can't say.
You've explored a lot of foods, we can tell, Kory. So first up,
apple better on that front.
Apple crisp pie, which is essentially apple pie, but it has like the crisp on the top. Excellent. Chocolate pie, which is just essentially chocolate pudding, which is delicious, and then blueberry pie. Any other holiday desserts you guys would like to discuss?
My mum and my auntie make like mean chocolate mousses, and then there's like passion fruit mousses. Because we're in the Southern Hemisphere where I am right now, and it's like, I'm not converting for you guys. It's 25 degrees Celsius. It's 30 degrees Celsius. You guys need to go by the metric system. Just get it done with. But you have to have, different style of foods to meet the climate. So, we have a bit of fish, we have some prawns and stuff. And then in terms of desserts, you get some passion fruit, some pavlovas, absolutely glorious stuff. Get around here. The Australian Christmas is pretty bloody good, but I do love the Northern Hemisphere Christmas as well.
So my mom makes one special thing for Christmas every year, Buckeyes. And what Buckeyes are, for those who don't know, it's pretty much just a peanut butter ball frosted in chocolate. That's it. There it is. And these things are the equivalent to, again, drugs.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Are they soft or hard or like?
They are like, so my mom keeps them in the freezer. So they have like they don't ever get like ice cube hard, but they get like that nice little like first kind of like break through the chocolate, and then the peanut butter is never hard, but the chocolate gets like a nice frosted when it's in the freezer. But it's very easy to chew, not hard on the teeth, and you're getting like a little bit of protein, but also sweets. They're great. I'm getting ready to gain about 10 pounds when she finishes.
Yeah, I've known Kory for a long time, and he never shared one of these with me, so I'm kind of upset.
Soon. Then Merry Christmas. They're coming, baby.
But talking gifts on the holidays, what's the best NBA gift you've ever received, Jack?
Now I've got two. My ex-girlfriend's dad bought me and her fifth row E tickets near courtside to a Lakers Nets game at Barclays Center, which I will never ever forget. Absolutely insane. Seeing Kiki Palmer, John McEnroe, Adriana Lima. We're right next to him. It was high fives aplenty. There was the dunk from Larry Nance Jr. on Brook Lopez. Got to see Joe Harris. I'm like, that's where the love began, Nick. It began there, and it has been fruitful ever since. And I also got a pair of Kyries for my ex as well. Absolutely fine. Kyrie 2s, I believe. So I've got plenty of NBA gifts because it happens aplenty. And I'm going to give a shout out to my co-host in this podcast. He gave me a nice swag Fuego hat as well to go with the Brooklyn Nets fire gear.
My best Christmas gift. For
NBA related, yeah.
NBA related.
Preparation, Kory. Preparation.
It probably would. Well, this one you can't really prepare for. I mean, I can't really prepare for this. I got like 4 of them, and I can't remember what Nick's given me because I think Nick's given me majority of my NBA attire. So, Nick, did you give me the hoodie and the the tank top, or did you just give me the hoodie, or did your mom give me the hoodie?
I think my mom gave you the hoodie. I probably gave you like a t-shirt.
Okay, then
but
your mom.
You guys made a mistake because the best NBA gift you guys ever received is your OTG basketball t-shirts.
DSGN.com/off the glass.
Oh, well, I thought you meant like Christmas.
No, I'm just messing with you, Kory. I'm messing with you.
Okay, yeah. So best Christmas gift ever was from Nick's mom on giving me an NBA hoodie, which actually I wore today to see Star Wars. So there you go, full circle.
Getting full use.
Thank you, Diane.
Shout out to Diane. She gives me a lot of great NBA gifts. I have a rumor that I'm getting a Kevin Durant jersey this year. Just word on the street. But back to mine, I got to give a shout out to my cousin. This isn't actually a Christmas gift. This was like, he said a wedding gift, which I don't know, whatever, Kev. That's how it is. He gave me every NBA card for the Brooklyn Nets since they've been in Barclays Center in terms of like the rookie class. So I have all the rookies autographed cards and then some other guys like Spencer Dinwiddie, Jared Allen, Karis LeVert, and throw it in there too. So that's my best NBA gift, but also shout out to you guys. You know, Jack gave me a great Nets shirt last year, and Kory gave me a Nets keychain like probably 5 years ago. It's still on my keys now.
Hey, I'm always with you.
Yeah, exactly. And at least it's like some resemblance, you know, of a Nets thing. But anything else you guys want to touch on in terms of the holiday season, basketball, NBA?
There is nothing that I would rather be right now than on this podcast with 2 of my best North American friends, including Kory Waldron in this conversation, talking about hoops, talking about the festive season. What a world.
Keep those vibes all in 2020, everyone.
Yeah, what a time to be alive. Jack is being merry. Nick, it's always a pleasure on these podcasts, and the vibes are way up. You know, we're now I gotta go get some cookies after this. I gotta tell you.
Yeah, I actually need to ruin some cookies. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, whatever you celebrate. You know, enjoy your time with family and friends. And as always, a pleasure talking with you two. And you can find us on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, OTGBasketball.com, and YouTube.
Let it rip, Jack.
Peace out, nuckleheads.